Say that again, Jay.
If you love someone and they say they love you, a hard conversation should bring you closer together. A hard conversation should not push you away from each other. If you're scared to have a hard conversation with someone you love, that means you're not that close.
You're not responsible for rescuing people from their problems. Now, this one probably hits hard, especially if you're a parent or a partner or a friend, or frankly, if you have a pulse, because if you care about somebody else, it's really hard to accept that this is true, that you're not responsible for rescuing people from their problems. Because who hasn't been there? Who hasn't tried to clear all the obstacles out of the way to help somebody that you love? You can support someone, you can offer advice, you can pay for things, you can throw down a dozen lifelines, but at the end of the day, people only change when they are ready to do the work to change for themselves. And if you're not careful, your love and your concern and your worry will turn into enabling people who are struggling. Let's say you loan your sibling money for the third time, even though they haven't paid you back the last 2 times. Or you keep paying for the car, the phone, and the rent for your adult kid who isn't working and doesn't really seem to be looking for work or all that motivated to look for work, but still has the time and the money to go out and party with their friends. And every time you ask, hey, how's the job search going? There's nothing but excuses and a request for some more money. Or your partner has let themselves go. So you just sign them up for the gym membership, even though they don't want it, and then they don't use it, but then you start resenting them because they're not doing anything and they're not accepting the help and you're still trying to solve this. And here's what I've discovered about myself, is that oftentimes I've made it my problem to solve other people's problems because I don't like how uncomfortable I feel when I'm worrying about somebody. And so I can just make this go away. I can make myself feel better. I can make myself feel like not as worried if I pay for something or if I avoid the conversation. That's easier than taking a step back and reminding myself, at some point, this person is going to have to find the strength within themselves to step up and face the issues in their life. The fact is, helping takes 2 people. The person giving the help, that's you, and the person accepting the help. If you're giving someone help and they're not accepting it, it flips from helping to enabling because you're the one doing all the work. You need to say to yourself, let them struggle. It sounds harsh, but it's actually one of the most loving things that you can do because you're also saying, I believe in your ability to do the work to change. And the second that you are ready to accept the help, I will be right there to give it to you. But in the meantime, I'm not responsible for solving your problems, and I'm going to let you learn from life.
The biggest myth we have about money is if I make more money, I'll be rich. You won't be rich if you make more money if you don't keep some money. You got to make money and then keep some money. So for 20 years, I've been teaching people to pay themselves first automatically 1 hour a day of their income. That means if you have a job with a 401k plan, the first hour a day of your income goes right into your 401k plan.
I don't even understand what that means. What's the first hour of the day of your income?
Okay, great question. So most people come to work at 9. I came here at 9.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And they work until 5. And they're getting a paycheck from you, right? They're being paid from 9 to 5.
Yes.
Whatever it is, that first hour a day of your income has to go into a pre-tax deductible retirement account.
Okay.
So that could be an IRA account, or if the company has a 401k plan, that's where it goes. Now, 1 hour a day of your income equals 12.5% of your gross revenue.
Okay. So 12.5% of your salary.
Yep.
Is what you want to be automatically putting into, like, out of sight, out of mind, and at work.
So now here's the thing. People are going to like, did he just say I'm supposed to save 12.5% of my gross income? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, I'm living paycheck to paycheck.
I'm living paycheck to paycheck.
And I feel trapped and I can't do the things I want to do. So why would I take 12% that I don't have?
So for people who don't, because I skipped over this, for people who don't believe they can go from 0 to 14%.
Or they're scared, or they're paycheck
or they're
to paycheck.
scared,
or
put 1%.
1%. Just do something. Why do just 1%? Like, what benefit does that have when you're already like?
Because you're signed up. And what you'll realize is if you do 1%, you won't notice it. And then a couple months later, you can go to 2%. And then a couple months later, you can go to 3%. If you just went from here's the truth, you could do this in a year. You go 1% January, 1% in February, you just do 1% a year, you'll never notice your expenses changing by 1%.
And if you did it every month, you'd be by 12% by December.
You won't notice your income changing by 1%. There's just no way. First of all, it's not even 1%. It's more like 75 cents, right? For every dollar. It's not a whole full percent because you're not paying taxes. You'd be saving 4 times what the average American who has a retirement account saves.
That feels so doable.
It's doable. So let's go through the math on this.
Let's go through the math.
The whole reason you want to pay yourself first is so you don't pay taxes. So what the government did decades ago, over 40 years ago, was create tax laws that made these 401k plans deductible. So that means, and this is why it's called pay yourself first. That means when you put money in a retirement account, it avoids paying taxes. You skip the IRS, okay, legally. So the other thing is what happens is you put it in your retirement account. Now it grows tax-free. And it grows tax-free until you take it out at retirement. This is when you're putting money aside for your future. This is not for your house. This is not for emergencies. This is not for dreams. This is the future.
Give people the freedom to think negative thoughts about you. Let people not see your worth. This is a radically beautiful idea that will unlock your confidence. It will free your self-expression and catapult you into a whole new chapter of your life. Give people the freedom to think something negative about you. Let them, because until you can let people think something negative about you, you're going to have trouble thinking positive about yourself because you've been so busy managing what other people think. How could you value what you think about yourself? And you're not responsible for other people seeing your worth. You can't control whether or not your boss sees it. You can't control whether or not your ex sees it. You're not responsible for your critics, your strangers, your family seeing your worth, and definitely not people who haven't taken the time to really see you for you. Here's what you are responsible for. Instead of wasting all your time on them, focus on yourself. You're responsible for recognizing your own value, even when other people don't. You're responsible for building your dreams, your career, your life, not to impress other people, but in order to impress yourself, to fulfill yourself, to live your life in a way that makes you proud. That's how you feel worthy. You're responsible for showing up with integrity, consistency, and effort, not because you owe it to anybody else, but because you deserve to be proud of the way you live. You want to know the secret to achieving everything that you dream about? Don't quit. See, when you know what the destination is, there's a million paths to get there. And it took me a long time to learn that the greatest moments of growth and success happen right after you feel like quitting, but you don't. That's the secret. Keep going. No one's coming. No one. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. Nobody's coming to tell you to apply for that job that you've always dreamt about. Nobody's coming to write the business plan for you. It's up to you. Number one, major mistake is chasing the potential. That you're in a relationship with a fantasy in your head and you're not actually in a relationship with the person as they are. Rule number one in the let them theory is that human beings only change when they feel like it, and you will never be able to change another human being. And the single biggest mistake that I see with anybody dating or anybody in a relationship is that you're holding on to the potential and you're living in a fantasy in your head and you're not accepting reality, which is why you need to let them be who they are and then decide what you're going to do about it. Mistake number two is that you're with somebody and your values aren't aligned. You don't want the same things. And yet you're convincing yourself that eventually this person's going to come around and convert to your religion, or they're going to come around and they're going to want to have children. And the research is very clear on this. If you have to give up your dreams in order to stay with this person, this is not going to work. And the reason why this is not going to work is because you will grow to resent the other person, because you will blame them for being the reason why you didn't get to go to medical school, or you didn't get to move over to the other side of the planet and have this adventure, or you didn't get to have kids. When you compromise your own values for the sake of a relationship, and you give up on your dreams for the sake of staying with somebody else, the other person isn't to blame. You are. So let's talk a little bit about procrastination. Who in here struggles with procrastination? Yeah, and the rest of you that aren't raising your hand are just procrastinating on doing it, aren't you? I know. You see, I always thought procrastination had to do with the thing I was procrastinating around, right? Like that procrastination has something to do with work. Believe it or not, procrastination has nothing to do with your work. Procrastination is a form of stress relief. Let me explain this. So let's say that you've got some stuff going on in your life, and heck, who doesn't have stuff going on in your life? Maybe you're fighting with your significant other. Maybe mom's or dad's health is failing and it's really, really upsetting you. Maybe you've got some financial stuff. You put too much of your savings into Bitcoin, and now that that's crashed, you're stressed out about it, right? And so you go into work, and when you get into work, you got stuff to do. You kind of walk in and you got this big stress ball that subconsciously is hanging over your head. And so you walk in and you sit down, and you know you got 13 phone calls you need to make. And you also know that you've been chickening out, you've been making easy calls, and there's a bunch of CIOs or other people that are higher level that you haven't been calling. And so as you sit down to do it, and you got the stress on your shoulders, your brain it starts to go, wait a minute, well, you want me to make a call to somebody that I'm scared to make? Absolutely not. I'm so stressed out about, can we just watch some cat videos for a minute? And next thing you know, an hour's gone by. And then, of course, what do? You beat yourself up. So the only way that you can break this habit, and that's an important word for you to hear, you're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating. Big difference. Because if it's a habit, I can teach you to use science to break it. You see, all habits have three parts. There's a trigger, and in the case of procrastination, the trigger's always stress. Then there's a pattern you repeat, and in the case of procrastination, it is to avoid doing something. And then there's a reward. You get a little stress relief. The only way to break a habit, you guys, is not to deal with the triggers. You're never gonna get rid of the stress in your life. But you can 100% change your pattern of avoiding work. So next time that you're in a situation where you feel yourself hesitate, you spent way too much time checking out the highlights from last night's scores, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go, oh, I must be stressed out about something. Acknowledge the stress. Then go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to count to yourself because I want you to interrupt the habit that's stored here, and I want you to awaken your prefrontal cortex. Then I want you to just work. Just for 5 minutes. The reason why I want you to only work for 5 minutes is because your problem isn't working. It's the habit of avoiding. I just need you to start. And here's the other cool thing. We know based on research that if we can get you to start, 80% of you are going to keep going.